It's our last and final day at the Annapolis Sailboat Show. Check out our previous episodes where our dreams are beginning to take shape. We toured catamarans for the first time, and now it was our turn to take the tiller. Join us as we tour the U.S. Naval Academy, the main chapel, the museum, and share our experiences in the first sail workshop sailing the Chesapeake Bay. We are close to finishing.
Stielow never quit! Woo!
Yeah!
We are fearless! I love sailing!
We woke up to a beautiful morning and ready to get on the water. We completed the first sail workshop that provided 45 minutes of classroom overview of sailing basics, and we were ready for our 90 minutes of instruction aboard a Beneteau First 22 or Catalina 22 Sport.
Take advantage of it and get the sail up first.
Our sail had been rescheduled due to weather multiple times, and we almost missed the launch. The winds were shifty and light, but any day on the water is a good day, especially when joined by a salty skipper full of experience and wit.
Where all the sailboats are, we're going to try to avoid those sailboats. All the plebes out here, this just says Navy and all the sails, you see that? You see, they're still teaching the kids how to sail, right? My favorite thing about sailing, the freedom, the quiet, the peacefulness, and the economy of letting the wind carry me anywhere I want to go. I just enjoy the peacefulness of it, the serenity, I think the accomplishment sometimes. When you have a really ugly day out there and you make it through the day and you made it from point A to point B, you say, hey, I made it. There's some days out there you question yourself, but when you make it in, you say everybody's safe. It's a good feeling, I guess. That's what I really enjoy about it. That's the view that comes down. Yes, the woodwind that's so early today with the sail. That's the one.
You weigh a lot less.
Thank you for the thing. You got a lot smaller boat too, though.
Yeah, we don't have an engine to lug around.
There you go. The square root of the water line, which may be 20 foot actually in the water, times 1.34 will give you the maximum speed of any displacement hull. So that's about, if you do the math, about 6.5 knots. The current pushing you go 7 or 8 knots, or current going against you, you go down to 3 or 4 knots. But maximum speed is about 6.5 knots. So that being, no matter what you do with the sails, you're not going to go any faster than 6.5 knots anyhow.
Erik and I both had time at the helm. What a great experience, but it was time to get back to the dock.
What do we got?
I was surprised. I actually remembered how to do the cleat tie.
Well, I got a lesson before we took off.
Did you?
In and out. I was the man up in the front of the boat.
Great. Fun.
I'd do it again.
Yeah, definitely.
So Elise, how was your first sailing class?
Well, my first sailing class was great. We had an awesome instructor, Tony, behind me. He was very patient. And we went out with about 5 of us, I think, something like that. And it was beautiful. It's so beautiful to see different things from the water than what you see from land. So it was great. Sailing the Chesapeake Bay.
We meandered through several street festivals and stopped for another great lunch at the Federal House Bar and Grill.
Candied bacon with a pony diet. Really, if you look out the side, you're like, oh, we're slowly inching forward.
The guy behind me was like,
It's almost like with the waves, the current, you just slowly moving forward.
we're drifting.
We're drifting.
Very true.
It's the class on drifting.
I really did. He made us do a lot. He made us do all the tacking. You guys did the tacking.
Yeah, we did tacking.
I was blind.
We all
We couldn't leave Annapolis without visiting the United States Naval Academy. This is a highly ranked military academy that was established in 1845. It was moved from Philadelphia as the Navy had been born much earlier in response to the need for a naval force against the Royal Navy in the American Revolution. The Annapolis Naval School was established without congressional funding, with a class of 50 midshipmen and 7 professors.
We ran on the cross-country and track teams in high school.
Now it is home to over 4,000 students. The original campus was also only on 10 acres, and that has grown to over 338 acres. The main chapel was dedicated in 1908 and sits high on the yard to give a grand view of the Severn River. The stained glass windows are works of art and are designed by Tiffany and Gorham Studios. The U.S. Naval Academy Museum exhibits the history of sea power and the development of the U.S. Navy. We met several veterans with intriguing stories that made the scenes and models feel so much more than just a thing of the past. Also, Erik, who is a history buff, especially regarding World War II, was elated to discover this national treasure.
So this right here is a World War II German Enigma machine. Any security professional working their salt knows what this machine is and how it works. This was the granddaddy of encryption before there was the digital age. This is what started it all. Very, very powerful machine during the time. I'm in IT security.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
You're in IT?
Yeah.
Destroyer pulled up within about, well, basically the guns were at zero elevation, shooting into this battleship.
Wow.
They were close enough to the battleship where the battleship couldn't depress its guns on it. Now, I never knew my father because he died later in the war, but one of his shipmates, I got to know him. He passed away just a few years ago, and he was at this battle. And to hear these stories is
Terrifying.
just terrifying. The noise, the confusion, the Japanese, the American ships were all, mixed up with each other, and of course, trying to identify it. Probably both sides fired on their own. Yeah, it was that kind of thing. So it's just an interesting piece of naval history.
We were on our way back to pack up, but first, coffee and street performers. So here we are, packing up from the boat show. And I think what I liked most was actually being able to go aboard catamarans, get the feel for it, get my dock legs, and also being here with friends and getting to know Annapolis was really sweet.
Just a lot of different information just thrown at you all at once, but it was great to be here with friends. Great to actually see, touch, feel, and get our hands on some actual real world boats that we've been looking at online for a while. And so made a few connections, and Emily was great, surprising me as a birthday gift with this, and it's just been amazing. So we'll see what phase 2 has in store. Guys, it's been a fun weekend.
Fun weekend here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Not a problem.
Emily, thanks for doing all the planning.
Our dream is this, that we envision living on a sailing vessel. It gives you the luxury of taking your home to places around the world, some only reachable by vessel. We hope to immerse our family in cultures where we could stay as long as the weather and our visas allow. We want to enlighten our children to the other ways of life and see for ourselves the wonders of creation. So could we do this? Could we shrink our possessions and expand our mindset to make a boat a home? This trip wasn't about the class we took or the time at the helm or even the boats that we saw. We took a vision and experienced a small piece of it in physical form. This trip was about grounding the dream into reality. And as always, we hope the wind fills your sails.